Bit of singing from me. Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone. I hate Pink Floyd. Thing is, having put 4 children through the education system, or my wife and I can say that from my experience, the vast majority, and I really do mean the vast majority of teachers I've encountered certainly, have been hardworking, conscientious, thoughtful, and dedicated to their charges. I really mean that. Yeah, they do moan on about how hard they work. They obsess about burnout and deny that they're well paid and enjoy absurdly long holidays. But the actual work they do tends to be extremely good, rather impressive. Am I naive, unworldly, blind? I don't think I am, you know. And by the way, a fair number of those teachers have been left-wing, some have been gay. Look, my views on same-sex marriage aren't a secret. I, of course, don't want to see gay people punished or imprisoned or anything ridiculous like that, but I oppose same-sex marriage on religious and unmoral grounds. As a father, I've always been wary of any discrimination against my kids by teachers because of Dad's opinion, obviously. But thankfully, I've never encountered anything like that, which speaks to the professionalism of these teachers. Believe me, I would have responded in a heartbeat. But now there's another example of teachers' unions, if not teachers themselves, behaving like, oh, how shall I put it, Marxist idiots, social engineers, and sheer annoying busybodies.
Name and affiliation?
Patricia McAllister. I'm here representing myself, but I do work for the Los Angeles Unified School District. And I think that the Zionist Jews who are running these big banks in our Federal Reserve, which is not run by the federal government, they need to be run out of this country.
Yes, quite so. Remember, a lot of what teachers' unions discuss is never even considered at the frontline level in the schools by teachers too busy teaching to care about moron leftist authoritarians up at the head office. But this time it's a new education campaign written by the Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario, ETFO, which encourages teachers to look for teachable moments to address homophobia. It's called the Social Justice Begins With Me program and describes, and I quote, a brand new EFTO literature-based resource kit for early years to grade 8, which, and again I quote, builds on the concepts originally introduced in We're Erasing Prejudice for Good. And thank goodness for that. This union EFTO is not only encouraging teachers to look for new ways of describing family days, but also for them to expose children to written works on lesbian, gay, transgender families. It insists that, and again I quote, all families should be honoured and recognised in a classroom. Well, yeah, but I think they are. It calls for what it says is Family Day, a time to celebrate all types of families, give students an opportunity to talk about their families, and invite LGBT families to share their traditions. Yawn, yawn, yawn. As for Mother's Day and Father's Day, well, it suggests having a class discussion about important women/men who care for you, and that alternative names could include Love Day or Games Day. Look, it's all a bunch of garbage. Of course it is. It's just total crap. Any good teacher will know the children in that class, and they'll be sensitive to them according to all sorts of criteria. Are they from a religious or racial minority? From a single-parent family? Have they recently lost a parent or a sibling? Are there financial problems? Are they needy or vulnerable? Sensitivity. I suspect that most frontline teachers, gay, straight, whatever, will treat this nonsense with the derision it deserves. The appropriate response, mock, condemn the unions and these social engineer zealots, but also know that this isn't the end of the world, and that actually Christmas and Father's Day and Mother's Day, they will continue.
My dad is the best dad because he's loving and caring.
He helps with chores around the house. He builds forts. He gives me hugs and kisses. Dad hugs are the best hugs. He's cool. The best friend you ever had in your life. Gives me bedtime stories. Comforts us when we're sad and it feels good. He fixes stuff. He makes us eat healthy stuff.
Yeah, that last one wouldn't be me. I think the answer would be he buys us stuff. The triumph of common sense over sheer, banal, neurotic extremism. Mind you, look, if I had my way, I would, I'm sorry, scrap all public education. I give the tax dollars back to the parents, mum and dad, and allow all of us to choose where and how our kids are educated. But that would mean freedom and choice. And you know what? Those really aren't Canadian values, are they? So there you have it. And you know what? When these stories do break, when you look deeper, you will find that, again, most of the teachers, vast majority of the teachers are saying, oh, go away. We just want to do our work here. But these people at the head office, they have way too much time on their hands, and they always want to try and work out ways to make your life, parents and teachers, your lives just that bit more difficult. Charles McVitie, Canada Christian College president and an activist, and I just mentioned to you this morning on News Talk 1010, I was defending you because you have a few enemies out there, don't you?
When you protect children, you do get enemies, and unfortunately that's the issue here.
Let's talk about this.
Sure.
Because I mentioned in the monologue that we have 4 kids, they've gone through the school system, and you know, there actually are quite a lot of gay teachers, for example, in public education.
Sure.
Marvelous teachers. They would never talk about their sexuality. They never talk about sexuality. They're teaching the kids. They love the kids.
Sure.
They would look at this and say, oh, give me a break.
Sure, yeah, I'm making all of this up.
No, you're not. But
the teachers' union is
teachers' union doesn't represent the teachers, does it?
Well, you know what? When they are putting out missives like this and to question or to rename Mother's Day and call it Love Day and be inclusive like this, some of this does filter down into the classroom, because I had a lady in my office yesterday, and she said she had. Don't worry about that. I have a male assistant. The door's always open, and she was telling me that she has 3 children, and the material they bring home from their class is appalling, but she doesn't know what to do. She can't afford to send her kids to a private school, and she's appalled with what is landing in the classroom.
Did you go and see the teacher?
So some of this is filtering from the Toronto District School Board, from the Premier, from the teachers' union, and then it ends up in the classroom, all this nonsensical stuff. And really, this is not about us. This is about the children.
What's it got to do with the Premier?
Well, this whole program is her focus. If you read her material from the day, this is why she got into politics. And guess who put her into office? You know, our Canada Christian College is in Don Valley West. We get a front row seat watching the teachers' union come in droves to put Kathleen Wynne. You remember when she defeated John Tory?
I've got to tell you, her daughter used to serve me to the local Starbucks.
Sure.
Very well-adjusted young woman. I don't agree with Kathleen Wynne's politics. I object as a parent, as a social conservative. I object very strongly to teachers' unions and some of the radicals. But I don't see it as being quite as bad, perhaps, as you do.
Well, all I have to do is read their material. And you read it, and, you know, I handed you a document last time I was on this program, and you, a 50-plus-year-old man, blushed.
Sort of.
So,
well, I never blushed, but I might have sworn.
I mean,
it's garbage. What's coming out of the teachers' union is terrible.
Deserve this.
Are they? Okay, but this is the point. Okay. Are they getting it? What is coming out of teachers' unions and the head office is generally crap. It is intrusive. It's we know better than the parents do. We want to shape your kids in our image.
Yes.
But I wonder how much of that really gets down to teachers who a lot of the time are struggling just to control the kids and educate them.
Oh, I do too, but we don't really have statistics on it. We know some of it is. I want to believe that the vast majority of teachers are wonderful men and women who filter all of this trash out.
They're ordinary men and women doing the best they can.
And they don't want this material to be presented, but are they forced to? Are they coerced to? Or do they, you know, they have programs where the teachers are trained by people in this, and there's a whole army of educators that go into the school boards all across Ontario and train the teachers in this material, and we have seen it. We've had teachers cry to us and say something.
Teachers crying? They shouldn't be teaching then.
Well, they're not shedding tears. They're saying, this should not be coming from the Ministry of Education. And all we have to do is...
The principal does rule pretty much with an iron rod. What the principal wants will happen. If the principal has an agenda, if they really have a radical social agenda, that might bleed through. If, as with most principals, they don't.
Sure.
They just want to have the most successful school possible. I think of our youngest, and yeah, the rainbow stuff will happen and all that, but the kids ignore it. I mean, sometimes with the kids, they actually turn against it. Oh, just give me a break. Well, kids are very cynical.
Sure, and of course, Mother's Day being discriminatory. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, most children would look at that and laugh.
Well, they would. And when it comes to, single-parent families have been around for a generation. They've been around for a long time, but I would suggest it's the past 25 years or 30 years they've been more common. And sure, I think any teacher worth the name will be sensitive to a child knowing it's Father's Day and it's more likely the dad than the mum, and dad's not on the scene. They'll be sensitive to that. Of course they would. And if it's a kid who has 2 dads or 2 mums, they try to be sensitive. But first of all, there aren't many families. I think there's about 6,000 of those gay families out of almost 4 million.
With children.
Yeah, so that's not pretend here. But sensitivity, child to child, is a good thing. A generalized approach, a radical generalized approach even more, is always to be criticized.
And every family should be cared for and treated with respect, and a gay family should be treated with respect, and the teacher should be loving and kind and caring and respectful to them. However, though, we should not teach all children this type of material and change the entire program to please some social engineers. And Michael, your children are older. But today,
one's 15.
This is a new program, and she's in high school, and you know what? This is elementary school, and it is of concern, and we have to...
It's of concern, but within
reason.
Within reason, yes.
Sure it is.
Be aware of it, be critical, but also be reasonable in response. I mean, the sky's not falling yet. Maybe next week, but not yet. Charles, as always, it's an enormous pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.